JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with family and friends today. Now on to the news. Assault rifle found hidden in St. Andrew Church. Cops assigned to the St. Andrew Central Police Division on Wednesday seized an assault rifle in a church on Crescent Road. No one was arrested in connection with the find. Reports from the Huntsville Police are that at about 12:53 p.m., lawmen in the area when a church was searched. During the search, the gun, a M1 Garland rifle containing 6 7.62mm rounds of ammunition, was seen in a room of the church wrapped in pieces of clothing. The weapon was seized. Investigation continues. Man robbed, shot, and left in bushes in Sligoville. The police in St. Catherine are searching for 4 gunmen who robbed, abducted, and then shot a man and left him for dead in bushes in Sligoville on Wednesday night. According to reports, at about 8:30 p.m., the man went to visit someone in the community, and while in the area, he was pounced upon by 4 armed men who robbed him of his possession. The hoodlums then placed the 38-year-old technician inside the trunk of his Toyota Probox motor car and drove him to another section of the community where he was shot and left in bushes by his attackers. He was eventually rescued and a report made. The Linstead Criminal Investigation Branch is probing the matter. 2 guns seized by police in St. Anne. The Brownstone Police in St. Anne have arrested a 34-year-old security guard in connection with one of 2 guns seized in the parish on Wednesday. It is reported that at about 4 p.m., the police conducted an operation at the Brownstone Mall, during which a Smith & Wesson revolver loaded with 2 rounds of .38 ammunition was seized from the suspect. He's been held for suspicion of possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Meanwhile, about 6 p.m., the Ocherous police seized a 9mm pistol along with 17 rounds of ammunition after a man fled, leaving a knapsack behind. He's been sought. Kingston construction worker shot and injured in St. Mary while cleaning his car. A 45-year-old construction worker from a Kingston address was shot and injured in the Castleton community in St. Mary on Wednesday morning. Police reports are that the man was cleaning his motor car on a section of the Content Main Road in the parish around 8 a.m. when he observed a motorcyclist riding back and forth in his direction. It is alleged that the motorcyclist stopped, walked towards the man, and took out a gun, firing shots. The man reportedly was shot in his right leg, but managed to escape in a nearby gully where he made his way to the Castleton police station and reported the incident. He was taken to the Onotobi Hospital where he was treated. 2 spent casings were discovered at the scene. The Port Maria Criminal Investigation Bureau is investigating. Man who locked himself inside supermarket and then stole money, charged. The police have charged a man who locked himself inside a bathroom in a supermarket on Constant Spring Road, St. Andrew, and was caught while attempting to flee with stolen money. He is 26-year-old Siobhan Davis of White Lane, St. Andrew, who has been charged with housebreaking, larceny, and malicious destruction of property. His court date is being finalized. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police are that at about 1:30 a.m. on Friday, July 12, Davis stayed in the bathroom while the employees locked the establishment. Davis reportedly then smashed the window to a room where cash was kept and removed several bags of coins. While inside, he also allegedly destroyed several CCTV cameras. The police say while attempting to leave through a window that he smashed, Davis was held by a security guard. The bags of coins were recovered and the police were summoned. He was later arrested and charged. Case management hearing for accused in murder of Saraya Paulwell and her mother delayed. The plea and case management hearing for Leoda Bradshaw and her alleged accomplices were implicated in the murder of 10-month-old Saraya Paulwell and her mother, Tashana Patterson, has been rescheduled to September 16. The hearing, which was booked to commence this morning in the Home Circuit Court, failed to get underway after the court was informed that the family of the defendant, Roland Balfour, has opted to pull attorney Courtney Rowe off the case. The family, however, did not retain a new lawyer. Hence, the court assigned attorneys at law Michael Howell and Vanessa Taylor to represent Balfour. Consequently, the matter could not start today as disclosure is to be made to the new lawyers in the case. The 2 defendants, along with the alleged triggerman David Smith and B. John Black, were remanded. 2 other men, Richard Brown and Roshane Miller, previously pleaded guilty to the crime and were both sentenced. The 10-month-old child and her 27-year-old mother were abducted from their home on Gilmore Drive in St. Andrew on September 9. They were allegedly taken to East Kingston and shot and killed and their bodies burnt. The alleged mastermind, United States Navy Petty Officer Bradshaw, is Paul Well's companion. Bradshaw is accused of contacting her cousin Balfour, who contacted hitmen and orchestrated a plan to murder and kidnap the mother and child. Work to begin next week on collapsed Troy Bridge in Trelawney. The National Works Agency, NWA, is reporting that work on the collapsed Troy Bridge in Trelawney is slated to commence next week. The bridge, which links several Trelawney, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth communities, collapsed in August 2021 during the passage of Tropical Storm Grace. Minister without portfolio with responsibility for works, Robert Morgan, says the cabinet, having signed off on the $231 million contract the work is to begin. He says that the NWA recently received the contractor's bond and insurance, and this has paved the way for the commencement of the works. The project is expected to last over 12 months and will see the demolition of the old structure, the erection of a new triple-cell block culvert on piles, as well as river training activities. Morgan says that a temporary detour is also to be constructed in order to facilitate the many pedestrians who now seek to cross the Hectors River. These pedestrians include students from the nearby Troy High School. The NWA has already handed over the project site to the contractor. Morgan says the Troy Bridge project will be among those that will pay keen attention on behalf of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. He says the negative impact of the bridge on the children and the farmers of southern Trelawney and northwest Manchester is the main driver behind the government expenditure. Government to spend $750 million on standby generators for NWC. The government is to spend $750 million to provide standby generators at critical installations of the National Water Commission, NWC. Since the passage of Hurricane Beryl 2 weeks ago, a number of areas remain without electricity, which has negatively affected the production and distribution ability of the water agency. Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the generator acquisition is part of an aggressive resilience plan for the NWC.
The NWC is the largest customer of the JPS. But as we try to build a weatherproof system and as we try to build resilience in our public utilities, the government has taken the decision that critical pumping stations for the NWC must have their own backup supply. The first assessment towards this is the government will have to spend $750 million to acquire these backup generators, and we will continue to do this exercise until the entire NWC system has its backup capacity and capability to continue the distribution and production of water even if the main electrical utility fails.
Agriculture Ministry taking stock of crops that will be in short supply. It's expected that by the end of this week, the Ministry of Agriculture will have a complete inventory of the crops that will have a dip in supply in the coming months. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green said it is already known that there will be a shortage of cabbage, lettuce, tomatoes, and carrots. Minister Green said the next step will be to fill the gaps through replanting and imports.
So we will look at where we are coming to the end of this week in relation to the supply and the fall of its supply. Again, a number of our markets, supply markets for these items are near shore, so we don't have to worry about time frame to get here. Clearly, it has to be managed in a way that will ensure that, yes, we look at price, but we don't flood the market in such a way that it de-incentivizes our farmers from getting back up and running. So we will have to do that balance. The other good news is that a number of these crops are what in agriculture we call cash crops. They're quick crops. They're crops that if you put the farmers in a position to get back out in the field, then they can work very hard to have us back up and running in weeks, 6, 8, 12, weeks to have us back up and running. Thankfully now we're at 70%. A number of our systems, included in parts of Clarendon, like Ebony Park, Clarendon Park, those systems have come back up. In Manchester, that Duff House New Forest system has come back up, but we still have areas with no system operational. And what we have to be doing now, as we're doing in St. Elizabeth today, and we started since Monday, is installing generators so that we can get those systems back up and running.
In the meantime, Minister Green said Hurricane Beryl has highlighted the need for standby generators for irrigation systems. He said all systems lost power during the hurricane. Minister Green was speaking at Wednesday's post-cabinet media briefing. In JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.